Alright. Alright, good morning. So we're going to start a class today. So the focus of today's class will be two things. One is how to promote your startup, and second is about fundraising your startup. Anybody has any question? The past 3 weeks, any questions? 这3周有任何的想问的问题 ？We're going to have 3 questions before we start. If we don't have questions, we will not start a class. 假如没有人问问题的话，我们不会开始今天的要问3个问题。好，so I'm just gonna wait for you guys. All right.
How was your trip to Korea?
Oh, great. The trip to Korea is amazing. 45 delegates for our 45 country came, and we'll talk about what worked and what doesn't work. And very surprisingly, there was a very interesting topic about does incubation or acceleration or core space really work? 所以我们48个国家聚在一起，45个，我们在讨论加速器预测中心跟开放空间到底对创业有什么不一样 ？And the surprising thing is none. And this is very surprising because at the end of the day, you cannot train an entrepreneur. 重点就是，不管你有什么方式，你没有办法训练一个创业家。So it doesn't really matter if it's accelerator, incubation, or core space. So it's up to you if you want to solve a problem. That's the first thing we learned. And the second thing we learned is that entrepreneur is overstated. 就说创业现在变成流行，它不应该是这样。Entrepreneurship is a mean to solve a problem. 创业其实只是一个工具，让你去解决一个社会的问题。And that's it. And I think that explained very well. And people, each delegate brought their #1 team from their country. So hopefully I will be able to show the video to you guys what that #1 or #2 team their pitch. 假如有机会的话，看我能不能把那个影片播出来，让你们看到说第1名跟第2名他们在讲 pitch 的时候，就介绍他们说是多么完整，会让你wow. And the judges for the world competition was actually a crazy VC, a Korean American, and he invented Microsoft Excel. So he was there, and then he said, you always need to fail before succeed. Failure is part. So he was saying that he lost so much money for Bill Gates. 他在微软的时候，他亏了10几亿美元。But with the product Office, they made $100 billion back, right? So what does that really mean? It means the longer you go, you will see the end of life. If you give up too early, you only see failure. 也就是说，只要你细水长流够长的话，你会看到成功。但是一开始的时候，你停住的时候 ，all you see is failure， 你只看到失败。So what does it really mean? There is no secret. 就是说，创业成功了没有秘密，就是 what do we say about entrepreneur? You gotta be a Superman and all that, right? So it's all about have the resources and be resilient. 也就是说，要开始累积自己的资源，跟打不死 ，right? So does that answer to your first questions?
Sure.
Yeah. So I'm trying to tell more than you asked. So second questions. Anybody have a question? You have a question.
How many entrepreneurs who fail in their first business was try to start a new one?
Right.
It's like how many? Is there statistics about that? Does somebody just start one time, fail, and then they
I can tell you, most people fail if they don't continue.
I mean, like if the whole business first they fail, will they just how many will continue and start a new thing?
No, not a lot. But there's no statistic because there's no need to. Most people don't continue, that's it. No. So the study is not on actually that. The study right now is more on what are the methods, or is there actually a cultural difference? And that's where the study is based on, right? Because failure is all about stepping out of your comfort zone. 所以这位同学问的是，到底有没有统计有多少人失败了，然后再继续，然后就分享说，其实大家的重点不在失败或者其，因为大部分失败的是不会继续的。So 关注点应该是说，创业是不是跨文化，创业是不是跨年纪。So the focus is actually entrepreneur is more on the trades. So the study is more, can you actually train an entrepreneur? That's all we're talking about. I cannot teach you how to be resilient. I don't think I can. 我觉得我没有办法教出一个创业家，因为我没有办法让你打不死。打不死 it's your decision, right? All I can show you is how to remove that rock, or help you to walk around that rock. 我能教你就是怎么把前面的石头移开，或者是绕过去。But you need to finish that path. And nobody knows if you're going to succeed or fail. Nobody knows. We had Google came, we had somebody from Washington came and report to boss is the boss of Obama president. 我们这次去呢，有直接他的老板就是奥巴马总统。And they came and they showed it's basically trades, right? So not sure if I answered your question. Okay, one more question. Yes.
At what time did you? At what age did you first time think about entrepreneurship, about things, what problems to do, how to solve such problems, and some like things?
About 12 months ago. So it's very recent that I finally realized to do the right way. I talked about my 2 failures, and I failed because I started for the wrong reason. So before when I started a business, it was never about solving a problem. It was all about proving to my parents, proving to my ex-bosses that I can do it. So just by sharing that, hopefully it's going to help you. Because what we talk about, the most important is how do you start, it's not how you end. Because if you don't start the right way, it's going to be very difficult to reach that. 重点是在起点，那个起点是挑那个起点。And it's not so much about the finish line. So, to wrap around your question is, what I thought about doing business when I was very little, because my dad had a business, right? But from age of 12 to 38, I thought about it for the wrong reason. So it was only until about 12 months ago, after failing and teaching and all that, we finally able to simplify it into that. What drive is that you need to feel compelled by that problem. And the fact that you wake up every day and think about the problem, if that problem resides in your mind in such a way, then you're ready to do something. 所以重点是那个问题跟你是不是有觉得紧迫性，而不是只是认定的问题。所以那个起点其实重点才是关键。那这个是我们这survey才学到的。Okay, all right. Are we ready for questions for classes? Is there any more questions? Fourth question.
Yeah, I know that.
We're supposed to have a lot of questions.
I know that which problem we solve such innovation like networking. I know that some big companies like Avon are learned by this kind of work and net marketing.
What? Say it again. I'm not sure I follow your question. I'm sorry. You talk about MLM,
Yeah,
right?
even they have such type of work, advertising, I like net marketing.
Net marketing?
Yeah, something like that. I'm not sure that it's right translation into.
Okay.
And
So the question you're asking is?
How do you think which problem be solved with such innovation?
Oh, you want to know what? You want to know if all the problem can be solved by networks or by internet? Is that the question, or?
Yep, so
Okay. A lot of things are actually now being solved by a hybrid, what we call offline and online. We actually tentatively don't think about what type of infrastructure or solution we're going to use. We tend not to. So your question is, what type of problem are solved by these tools? My question is, we don't think about this. And please don't even think about that. What we need to think about is, regardless of what the solution is, will people pay for that problem? It doesn't really matter what the solution looks like. But to answer your question from that angle, right now, a lot of solutions are online and offline. Offline meaning you still need to open a store. You still need to have people answer calls, right? You still need to do person to person. So can a solution completely by internet? Yes, some are. But if you look at the big innovations such as Uber, Uber is actually a logistic company, right? It's not an internet company. They have physical drivers, right? And they just leverage internet to facilitate the communications. So I'm not quite sure if clear? Okay.
What do you think of Tim Ferriss' 4-Hour Workweek?
No.
You looked at his stuff and you thought about it?
No, I'm not familiar. Maybe you can share with everybody what that is.
He seems to be advocating entrepreneurship, but for his lifestyle, and he's trying to automate everything so that it puts in as little time as possible. I don't think it really works because he sold his company and wrote the book. But the idea was that he would start a company and put it in as few hours as possible. That wasn't his It wasn't his initial. Initially, he was working like 14 or 15-hour weeks, days, and then he wanted to sell the company. So he.
You work 4 hours a week, right?
Yeah. So
he wrote a book about that, right?
Yeah. He thought that to hand it over, he would have to make it more systematic because he was a single point of failure. He was doing all the work.
Sure.
So he offloaded most of the work, and then he wasn't able to sell it. His deal fell through, and he was able to keep it going with very few hours a week.
Right.
So he wrote a book about how this would be a good goal for starting a company and having a lifestyle like his.
Well, I think everybody. First, I'm not very familiar with that. I think I read the title about working 4 hours a week. I think initially from the 12 to from the first 2 years, I don't think that is possible. But after that, ideally, what the entrepreneur tend to do is to hire professional managers, and they will go work on somewhere else, and they still have a cash flow, they still have a share of that company, or they still get residual revenue. So I'm not quite sure if that book focused on the first 2 years or after 2 years.
Yeah. So you think that's probably something people have already been doing? So
Yes.
Much more time at the beginning and less time.
Yes. That's what actually serial entrepreneurs are. Like if you look at Mitchell Genta, why he can teach, because he has like just from conversation, he has like 2-3 businesses that are making great money. Now he's actually pursuing his passion. So that's why a lot of entrepreneurs, what they really do is money is a means to achieve something greater. So I think that's the state that everybody want to achieve, right? If today for me, I haven't reached that goal, but if today I'm struggling with my electricity bill, I don't think I can come and teach, right? So I am hopefully in that path of following my passion, but bills still need to be paid, right? But now this year, this is probably the 40th speech that I've been doing this year, right? So you mean that I don't need to rely on heavy-duty training fees, right, to sustain. So I think ideally that's what everybody will reach. So entrepreneurship is actually the means to the end. Hopefully I can. Is that okay? Sounds good. 好，还有没有人讲没有的话，我们就开始了。好 ，You have a question, or you want to say something? Okay. Alright. Let's get this going. So today is going to be about promoting your startups, and today is going to be very interactive, very interactive. So 我们白帽子准备了嘛 So do we have the 白帽子 ready? Okay. So first, let's all get 3 白帽子 for each team. Let's get 3 白帽子 for each team, and we're going to do a lot of questions today. And then you may feel that the class is running very fast. 你可能会觉得今天的课程的步骤会非常快 Right? Unless you're telling me that we don't want to fundraise. 除非你先告诉我说，我不需要资金，那我们可以慢慢来。好，你们需要资金吗？需要，那要慢慢来，快快来。那你们问了几个人？啊 ？Very good. 所以赚钱是过程。你有没有觉得很压力？你说不觉得有压力？你觉得就像打怪一样？像我之前是买就是把那个把东西自爆，自己现在所以要have fun. That's great. 那你们的白帽子呢？对，太开心了哦，太开心了哦 ，too happy. Oh great. I heard a great story people want to share. So 今天慢慢来。那你有 A、B、C 吗？还是你是问他要不要，还是就觉得应该是选择这个思维点的选择。不要问是谁来问选择，那你问什么？那是谁的问题？这方法也不能。但是是要告诉你，告诉你，咱们还想继续这么去，你们知道哪一对？你们应该要去问，因为小胖他要知道这就是不是你的方法，熟悉的。Alright, we're getting ready. Okay, let's start. Alright, so how do we market your startup, right? How do we market? Do we buy ads or do we tell 1,000 people? Well, you have already started to market your startup, believe it or not. 我们在说怎么去宣传你的 startup， 其实你们已经在做了，你们知道吗 ？The fact that you're actually talking to people, you're already marketing your startup. Alright? So marketing your startup is very different from the traditional marketing. 新创在推广的时候跟一般人是不一样的，不是靠买广告。We don't rely on advertising. So today I'm going to do Chinglish. I'm going to do English and Chinese. Okay? I'm going to hopefully we can do more English later on. But I was told that Chinese helps, right? 所以讲中文的朋友举个手好吧，只讲中文的，就是需要我不断的用中文的，请举手。没有关系，举手。 那这3位伙伴呢，因为这是英文教学，所以当你听不懂的时候，你要举手，因为我不是你，因为我刚刚已经几乎都在用中文教学了，对吧？我们也要尊敬别人嘛，但是你又要学习，对不对？所以这是谁的问题？这是谁的问题？是我的问题吗？没有，这我没有说谁对谁错，我说这是谁的 problem to solve。是，我没有说这是你的 mistake， 我说 whose the problem is。啊，所以假如我讲英文你听不懂，谁要举手？因为为什么？因为你要做你的 startup，right？ 你问问题是因为你希望你的 startup， 不是因为你要练英文了 ，alright？The reason we're asking is we want everybody to be good first. 我们做这件事情是希望大家都好。This class is not about learning English, okay? This class is about pursuing your dream, and we're all here to help each other out. 所以这个呢是去实现你的梦想，所以大家要互相帮助大家 ，OK? So all the only speakers, we need to be patient because they can be your customer, OK? 所以我刚才讲的就是。跟讲英文的就说，也请他们有一点耐心，因为你们可能会是他的客户，所以 we're not here to compete whose English is better. Okay, we're not doing that. So if you don't understand, you raise your hand. Even for the English speaking, I was told I was going very fast. Right? Am I right or wrong? I was told somebody called me yesterday. Even for English speaking, you speak like an English speaker. Well, I grew up here, so I need to slow down as well. So 因为也不用关系，因为讲英文的也有反应我讲得太快了，所以没关系。It's not an English class, right? So if for the English speakers, if you have any question, you should raise our hand. Why do you want to raise your hand? Because you want to solve a problem. Everything that we do is going back to solving that problem. If you're not committed to solve your problem, then it's kind of pointless, right? 假如你的 focus 不是在解决这个问题，其实你不用问的。你要问问题是因为你要解决问题，不是因为你要听懂这个 class。大家知道吗？ The focus is not to understand entrepreneurship. The question is about solving the problem that compelled to you. What we want people to take away is not to be an expert in entrepreneurship. That's my job. Okay? Your job is to solve the problem. 跟大家讲哦，大家在这边的目的不是要当这个创业课程的超级讲座老师哦，这不是你的工作哦，你的工作是解决问题，创业只是个工具。Your job is to solve a problem. Entrepreneurship is just a mean, okay? So the only focus here is to solve the problem. It's not to learn about entrepreneurship. It's to solve the problem. 明白吗？哦，这个观念非常重要哦。